so happy to have you join us for Good News on Entertainment tonight. I'm Carley Boyette. If you tuned in at all over the last year, you know I love highlighting all of the family-friendly and faith-based entertainment programming we have available these days, right? Well, in a little bit, we're going to dive into the world of the Wingfeather Saga on the Angel Studio streaming app, as the team is gearing up for season 2. But first tonight, we are showcasing a program you can find right here on CTN. It's called Destined2Roam. And before I chat with the lovely Steve and Carol Cunningham, let's take a look at some of the adventures and spectacular views they share with us.
Driving down the road, window down the radio wall.
Hi guys! We are going on an airboat ride. Hi guys!
Hi.
Hi!
Good morning.
We are headed to the mountains of Georgia.
Waterfalls.
I imagine that it is high. It's a
Let's go.
high. H-I-G-H waterfall. Right?
Or you go there and there's a sign.
What are you supposed to do?
Get everything except gold.
Hi guys!
Hey guys.
We're going to St. Augustine.
Fuego.
Hi, guys!
Hey guys.
Guess where we're going?
Idaho.
Yay! You were right. Is that pretty or what?
It's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there they are. Oh, that's them. That is them. Oh, look at that. You can see your brother. I know. A whole herd of them. Oh, holy wow. This area is unreal.
Oh, and it's so good to sit down with Steve and Carol now. You guys look like you are living the dream. I'm sure you hear this a lot.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Well, it looks like it. And what I love about this, and I love what travel shows, we were talking a little bit about this before we got started, is because I think if you are maybe looking to plan a vacation, or for whatever reason, if we're not able to maybe travel the country and go on these trips, it feels like that we're riding right along with you, which is kind of the goal too,
That's
right?
funny because we had an email from somebody once that said, I feel like I'm sitting in the back seat of your car and traveling with some really good friends that are really godly.
Aw.
And we said yes. It worked.
Well, and let's talk about that. What is the goal? Because I love that you're honest and you say, listen, we just want to let other Christians know you can have fun.
Yeah.
Let's travel and see
Yeah.
the world and maybe not be so serious sometimes,
Yeah.
Steve.
It's very tough. And we show, what do you do when stuff happens? Because when you do travel, there's always something, whether it's a flat tire or COVID or whatever.
And we've had our fair share of those somethings.
Not intentionally. But
Yeah, one time we forgot all our camera equipment.
we're going up for a
How far did you get when you realized
Well,
it?
we
Oh,
had
boy.
the telephone, which is what we use most of the time, is the iPhone. But we didn't have any of the mics or any of the
We're
other
doing a
things that we
butterfly
normally use.
migration up in Tallahassee area.
Yeah, and yeah, it was
Aw.
fun. So we ran off to Walmart and bought a few items, which didn't work very well, but we made it through the show. Yeah.
And we got a viewer, a really nice lady that worked at Walmart, was very, very helpful. And
Aw.
we saw that she clicked on it on YouTube and said,
Yeah.
I'm Brenda from Walmart.
Steve never lets an opportunity go by to tell people about our show. So.
No.
Well, that's what we're doing before, because just like anything, it could be the most successful show ever. I promote The Chosen a lot. I'm still fascinated with how many people have watched something and then how many people still have not.
Exactly.
So that's why I love highlighting this. I want to also congratulate you guys. 55 years of marriage that you guys are getting ready to celebrate this year.
Yes.
That's amazing.
She was 10 when we got married.
So traveling, I mean, not all, I don't want to, that's a big statement to say, but I know it can't be the easiest to travel and be in those close proximities traveling, I think. What's the secret, do you think, to that?
No, most of the time we just really get along. We like being with each other. You know, it's just fun. Steve likes to say, in the 1970s we traveled, which we traveled for about a year and a half in a little tiny trailer. He said, in the 70s we traveled, and now that we're in our 70s, we're traveling again. Because we do really love traveling together, and we just have a good time. It's rare that we have any, I know it's weird, but it's rare that we have any arguments or fights. That's probably one thing we wouldn't show.
Oh, come on, slip a few of those in there.
All right. Just doesn't happen.
No,
We're
really.
very lucky.
Yeah.
So explain where the show is at now, kind of producing it wise, because I know the new season is going to be starting here in just a little bit. So tell us about some of the places as you guys are again, editing the show now that you're getting ready to show us and take us on with you, which we saw a little bit in the clip there.
Yeah.
But what are you excited for people to see and go on with you?
I remember that we went to Clayton. We went to Clayton, Georgia, which I don't think a lot of people know about. It's a little town in the north.
Everybody knows
East?
about Helen and
Yeah.
Dahlonega,
But this little town they don't know about. And when we got there, we found out that there was all kinds of waterfalls just in a short distance away, which is one of our loves, to go see waterfalls. And to get to the waterfalls were really easy hikes. So if you're like in your 70s or older and you can get to them, it's actually easy. And the town was really cute. And we also do a lot of show people where we stay, and we like to stay in Airbnbs. And we stayed in this one that was all like shabby chic and really cool looking. So we took them through that so they could even rent that if they'd like to. And it's just a really fun place.
But I love that you stay somewhat, obviously we're headquartered here in Florida, so there's going to be driving ones, but then you're taking us to Vegas and to Utah. I mean, how do you decide where and how you go and where you want to go?
Let me see, how much we got?
Is it really the budget? I mean, how do you
Hardly.
could go anywhere?
Yeah.
How do you narrow that down?
It's hard.
Because we try and go when there's not the crowd, because we could go to Zion in the middle of summer and that would be a pain.
Yeah.
Because there's 5 million people there.
Yeah, that and just places that we haven't been to before. We tried to do that. The reason we did Vegas was because that's the best place to go to visit the parks in the southern part of Utah, because it's the best landing place. And so since we were there, we thought we'd show people Vegas too. We spent 7 hours on the Strip in Vegas. We walked over 20,000 steps.
Do you know, I've been to Vegas once, and that's what I remember about it, is how much you walk. You think, because there's, the hotel is just, a block up. No, it's like an hour to walk.
I know, yeah, it was.
What I would imagine, and again, it's not that your show, I love that you're just trying to get people to give a window, I think, in all these cool places, but it has to have done something for your faith walk and for your faith journey to see all these beautiful places here on earth and to know who created them.
Yes.
I mean, what an amazing God that's what talks about. You can't deny that there's a God when you see and showcase some of these.
So many times it's like, thank you, God.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't happen on its
It's
own.
really awe-inspiring a lot of times. Like we took a drive once from where was it? Seattle all the way down the coast to California, and there was places that would just almost make me cry.
Yeah.
Because it was all on the coast, and it was like fog and cliffs and the ocean, and it's just I don't know how people could watch our show and not be in awe too.
Yeah.
Saying this is what God did, and He did it for us to enjoy.
Absolutely.
So I was like, my goodness. Yeah. It does.
What any advice for someone who maybe is looking to travel again, maybe this year, and again, I think sometimes we get so, if we don't know where we're going, it can be a lot to plan. It's a lot of work, I guess, is what I'm saying. But what's your advice to maybe those who want to travel or do more of maybe what you guys are doing?
Thank God for Google.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on the internet anywhere and figure out what you need, where you can go. We love it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to not overplan, so that there's a space there that if you come across something you didn't even know you're going to see it, that you have time to be able to take that little off the beaten path type of thing and just really see something new and different.
We really don't believe in making reservations, 6 of
So
them
you
in a
don't have
row.
everything planned
No,
out
no.
hour
We
by
have
hour.
it in our
General,
mind where we
yeah.
want to go and the places we want to go, but we try not to do. It seems like every time we have a set, we're going to get here, we're going to get there, we always miss it. And it always puts us in this thing like, we got to go. And I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy it, So we try not to do too much of that. So, yeah.
It's a good life lesson, I think,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Fly by the
exactly.
seat of our
I
pants kind
know.
of people.
Hey, me too. Can I go in the back seat one time
Yeah,
and
anytime.
go along with you guys? Well,
Anytime.
thank you for documenting. I know that it's a lot of work probably too, and probably a lot of pressure as well, but I
Yeah.
know you can tell how much you enjoy
Oh, we
it.
do.
No,
And it's just really fun for us to ride along with you guys. Invite people to tune in and watch. How can they, again, the next season is getting ready to come out later this spring. And I know the encore of season 3 is airing now. So when can
Till
people
about
tune in?
the end of March,
Okay.
and then the season 4 will start. And you can tune in on CTN affiliate stations. Roku is a great way because
Yeah.
you can go through our affiliate stations and watch our program there, and then watch it there. And wait.
Well,
Just
and
keep
it's
on
nice if
watching
you
it.
know that you maybe are going on a trip where we know that you guys have gone. It's so nice to watch those specific episodes maybe again
Yeah.
to get an idea of, hey, what'd they check out? What worked for them?
Yeah.
What'd they do?
Or you
So,
can email us at CTN and ask
Yeah.
us where have we gone, where if it's somewhere that they're looking to go.
Yeah.
We
y'all
can
are
give
the
them any
experts.
pointers.
I'm going to do that on my next trip, okay?
Funny, I had a lady wrote and said, we love your program. I even have my brother watching it, and he doesn't like anybody. So I wrote Bodie and I says, we're ministering to people who don't like anything.
Ah, that's awesome. How can you not love to travel and see the wonders of God? Well, again, thank you. Congratulations on not
Thank
only
you.
the success of the show, but more importantly, your marriage. What an example that is to other people as well. And it's just been such a blessing for me to meet so many wonderful people here at
Wonderful.
CTN who love the Lord and who are not afraid to have fun and enjoy life. And that's our slogan here, right? Enjoy
Yeah.
life,
That's
consider
right.
eternity. And
Exactly.
you guys are doing it well. So safe travels.
Well, thank
and
you.
Thank you for
we'll
having
look
us
forward to,
on.
following along as well. All right. Well, now we are traveling to a children's fantasy world. And this is a series that I think your kids and grandkids are going to love. What started as a popular book series is now gearing up for its 2nd season. The Wingfeather Saga is considered faith-infused programming. It's a family-friendly option that takes you inside a fantasy world that shows the battles between good and evil.
The stakes have been raised. The family's on the run. They've had to leave Glipwood with the fangs hot on their tail. They're lighting out for the ice prairies because they feel that's the only place that's safe for them. But they've got General Crack who's on their tails. They've got trolls now that are on their tail. He's just trying to track down that family because they seem to know something about the jewels of Anira. Fortunately, he doesn't yet know they are the jewels of Anira.
The jewels of Anira.
But he's been given orders from the Stonekeeper to bring them in alive.
But congratulations. People are loving season 1 and they keep asking, when's season 2 coming out? So congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing to see how so many families show up after years of trying to get the story off the ground, from these great books into a TV series, and then for it to land and everybody go, we love it. You're like, oh, because you don't know. I mean, sometimes you make a show and people are like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the best way that you describe what this show is? Because when I was watching it, to be completely honest, I had a hard time comparing it to really anything, which is a good thing. We want something truly unique. I think, it's time for that.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of us reference back to certain things with a lot of nostalgia, like The Princess Bride. Well, what is The Princess Bride like?
I love that movie. I'll tell you. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know if I could describe it, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and even The Chosen. Okay, when you were telling people about The Chosen, what's The Chosen like? It's like it's really hard, and that's wonderful, right? I think it's a really great thing. And part of my experience as a dad of 6 kids reading the book series when they were releasing was this is like something, but not like. So for a lot of folks, Wingfeather Saga is like Lord of the Rings and Narnia meets Princess Bride or something. It's some sort of in between, but it's really good, right? And so I think making the show has been a similar thing. And you're meeting these amazing kids on a journey that seems kind of pastoral and kind of regular, and then you realize, oh my gosh, there's a great evil in the land, and these kids are going to be a part of pushing back against that darkness with their family. And I think that's really distinct in the storytelling. Is a lot of times in these kind of kid protagonist stories, the kids are like, mom and dad are a burden, I gotta go find my adventure, right? Or they're orphaned or something else. In this case, no, the family together is the ones who will find a way through. And it's a family that not only loves each other, but they actually like each other and like being around each other. And so there's some really cool connections that I enjoyed in reading the books, and now in making the series, we found that it really resonates too.
Brock, explain a little bit, if you can, the artwork. That was something that really kind of struck me differently too, is you can't even, doesn't really compare to a lot of maybe the animation or cartoons. Like that's just another way that it's just kind of different, I thought.
Yeah. No, thanks for bringing that up. It's such a fun point because it is such a show that is built by artists and highlights their work directly on screen. So we call it paint motion, where the show feels like you're opening up a storybook. Those of us who have read books over the years to kids, the show is like opening that up, but it's utilizing new technology. So it's a CGI animated show like you'd expect from a Pixar movie or anything in that vein, but it has a hand painted look and feel to it. And so it really blends. If you remember kind of the old Disney 2D animated features that existed, and then the new CGI, it kind of blends those two styles in this very distinct kind of look and feel that we're loving how it's coming across on screen. And you're seeing this a lot in the marketplace too, with other films and series coming out now with this very non-traditional animation look and feel to it.
I want to talk about this term, faith-infused entertainment, because I think this is so interesting that in a world where there is a lot of good faith-based entertainment that clearly presents the gospel, but I think there's plenty of room for all kinds. That I love this term, this faith-infused. So talk a little bit about that concept.
Yeah, Andrew talks a lot. There's an old quote that says, if you want someone to know the truth, tell them. If you want someone to love the truth, tell them a story. And there's this idea that inside of stories, inside of characters, inside of entertainment, that we can experience the world and find truth authentically. And I think sometimes our desire to communicate truth turns into propaganda and agenda, right? That a lot of times our work, as a Christ follower in the church, is to evangelize, right? Is to deliver propaganda, if you will, of what the gospel is. And that's very useful in a teaching mechanism. But when we engage with stories, we want to engage in an authentic way. And I think our desire has been to form characters in story first that will entertain and grab the attention of a waiting audience. Inside of that, we've invested very heavily in themes and ideas that are rooted in our biblical understanding and faith, right? And what we see is that kids will choose that. I think this idea that parents want certain things aspirationally for their kids to watch or engage with, but then the kids choose something of their own. And so if you want to win kids as an audience, along with their families, you have to earn that through good characters, good stories, good entertainment, right? That's your lead. They don't want to watch it because they should. They watch it because they want to, right? And increasingly, kids have the choice, right? And parents may say, oh, I don't want you to watch that, but they're watching it anyways. And so what we set out to do is how do we make sure we make a show that will really engage with, our target audience of these, 10 to 12-year-old kids, and then bring their families in. And so we're hearing all these stories of, kids who will watch Wingfeather Saga season 1 and go, Mom, Dad, I want to watch this. Our whole family needs to watch this because it's really good. Now, they're not watching it saying because it teaches an important lesson or because it teaches me. No, they're watching because it's good. Now it's probably resonating with little hearts, right? And stirring something in them that we're excited about.
Let's talk about this age range too, that you're really kind of focusing on. The books as well, I think, focus on. I'm a little biased because I'm in that season of parenting as well, but it's a crucial age.
It is. It is such a treat to reach this age group. The books have always targeted 8 to 12-year-olds, and the show does as well. But what we've seen both in the books and the show is that it really brings the family together. And so for our series, it becomes an experience that families get to watch together. So it resonates deeply with preteens and teens, but it's really a multi-generational experience. And so what you'll find in the series is it's high adventure. It's action packed. There's a lot going on, and there's a depth, like Chris was saying, with our characters and the themes that start to resonate with that age group, but also resonates deeply with the parents as well. And so we love you'll find a lot of humor there too. So the chance to bring the family together to watch the show has been really such a treat to watch, to see how families have engaged in that way.
I was going to ask what the reaction has been.
Yeah, I think that it's a super dangerous journey whenever you walk out and say, we want to adapt a beloved book, right? Because their little minds and hearts are filled with, this is what it's going to be, right? And it's like this whole thing. So I think my biggest fear in making the show was folks would watch and be like, it's not like the books, I don't like it. And like, we missed. Because they can be some of your hardest critics and kind of biggest trolls on the old internet, of just like blowing you up. So remarkably, we've won them over. There was some skepticism early on because we talk about adapting, adaptation is always a thing, but we talked about like, well, imagine that this story exists in the world and Andrew Peterson observed it and wrote it down. Our version, we're observing the same story and we're capturing it with little cameras, right? And so we see things differently. We kind of experience moments a little differently, but it makes it a fresh experience. One of the worst experiences is having a derivative work, right? Where it's like, it's word for word, page for page. It's actually not good, right? It's like, oh no, you want a fresh experience. So we were able to take our audience through in season 1, kind of this fresh experience, where they got to see characters in a new way, experience moments in a new way. And the milestones, the main things that happen in the story are the same. How we arrive at them a little different. We talk a lot about, it's similar to like in the Gospels, right? That Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote things just a little differently from their vantage, what they saw, what they paid attention to. And we want to do something similar. So we're finding folks that will watch the series and have this great experience and then go read the books and have another great experience, right? Or vice versa. So it's less of a, which one do I start first? Kind of like, well, both are different and fresh experiences, we think.
Well, as we wrap up here, I'll let you both gentlemen kind of have a stab at this. What's your message and kind of hope for people to tune in and watch this, and of course buy the books? And it's just so fun to see all the other stuff, all the other things that are complementing it as well. But what's your pitch to get people to tune in before season 2 comes out? People need to get caught up.
Yeah, it is. I know for all of our families who are get to be a part of making this show, we love experiencing it as a family. And I harped on this earlier too. And this is, I think this is the opportunity for the series, is for families to rally around it. And for kids, kids will start to see themselves in these characters. We had an event a couple weeks ago where we had people, hundreds of fans came together and they dressed up in costume. And it was so fun to see how many little girls were dressing up like Lily, and we had little Janners and we had little Tinks. we had little Sarah Cobblers, just a number of characters that were highlighted because there's these kids that are on a journey, and today's kids, our modern day kids, are seeing themselves in these characters, and that's there's a role model aspect to it, and there's a relatability aspect to it that is can be really life-giving, both individually and within a family context. So that's been fun to see.
Yeah, and I think I would just say, you were talking earlier about The Chosen. I'm curious for you, but for us, like how many times it took people recommending that show before we finally gave it a shot. Because it's like this weird filter that if it's not, at a big movie theater, or if it's not on one of the major platforms, like we're like suspect that it's going to be any good. Do you know? And I think Wingfeather's in the same spot that you say, oh, it's on Angel Studios. I'm sorry, where? Like there's just this gap, and it's like, no, just go watch it on the app. It's easy. Yeah, that's a whole thing. Like, wait, you downloaded another app at some point, Disney or Netflix or otherwise. You can do this. And I think there's just this suspicion. And so one of the things that has been fun is when you finally convince someone to go have a look at it and engage with it, that they find, oh my gosh, it's actually good. That's incredible. And it's actually really well crafted. And we're so proud of our team. Now we've been able to extend the experience. So we've been able to create these other pieces, right? So we've got these fun little additional plush toys of the characters and all kinds of fun stuff that way, including an art of book. And so we talked earlier about the visual style. There is nearly 1,000 hand-drawn paintings in season 1 that are part of the world that we built out. And they're just gorgeous. And so we made this amazing book that catalogs all of that, right? And also tells our journey, because we are a fan-driven story. We were told by all the major platforms, yeah, you're a little too Christian for us. It feels a little too faith-driven for us. Or the faith market, yeah, it's got a little magical element, makes us uncomfortable, as though Narnia never existed. And instead we said, well, what about the fans? Do you want us to make this? And this showed up in massive droves, over 10,000 investors, right? So it's this wonderful empowering of the audience to say, go make this. And so we're rewarding the audience back with like other cool things, right? Saying, hey, we made it. And now here's this other cool stuff we get to put out for your family to engage with us. And I just, with every family I get to talk to, it's, hey, go watch those first couple episodes, get engaged in it, see what you think of it, watch it as your family, and just come along that journey with us, because I'm confident that we have a great story that over our 7 seasons that we have mapped out, we will land with a great ending, and you'll enjoy the journey along the way. But yeah, season 2 is in production. We are working really hard on that, and already beginning work on season 3.
For more info on the show and when you can officially watch season 2, go to angel.com. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I'm Carley Boyette, and I look forward to seeing you next week right here on your Christian Television Network.